Could the real estate market be a ticking time bomb due to the increase in unsold existing homes? Today, I read an article on foxbusiness.com written by Megan Henney titled, U.S. House Sellers Are Cutting Prices for the First Time in Over a Year. According to the author, a growing number of home sellers are slashing their prices as they try to lure back lukewarm buyers who are facing both high costs and steep interest rates. This is according to a new report published by Redfin, which found that 6.4% of sellers cut their asking price during the 4 weeks ended May 26th, the highest share since November 2022. Here are my thoughts. Well, it's about time. Some sellers have been quite greedy in recent years. Some have been trying to sell junk for double what they paid for it, and they have done very little to the homes in some cases. I find it interesting that price cuts are due to steep interest rates. In my opinion, interest rates right now are normal. The Fed should never have kept rates artificially low for so long. It resulted in a variety of problems in the economy, such as a lot of speculation by mom and pop investors and Wall Street funds. I saw a house near me hit the market recently for approximately $1.5 million. It sold back in 2018 for $800,000. I thought the person who bought it back then overpaid. Now the buyer is trying to sell it for almost double. I looked at the pictures and they haven't done anything to it. Why in the world would I buy a property for almost twice as much money that is just older? The roof is 6 years older, the HVAC systems are 6 years older, the gutters and downspouts are 6 years older, the windows are 6 years older, the carpeting is 6 years older, the appliances are 6 years older. No thank you. This thing is going to sit on the market for a while until the sellers get realistic. I thought about touring it and writing them an offer for $800,000 just to make a point that not everyone in society is willing to overpay for real estate. I know some agents are desperate to get listings and they are willing to list a home for whatever the buyer thinks it's worth, but it's just a waste of everyone's time. The agent should just tell the sellers that their house isn't worth as much as they think, and if they really want to sell it, then it needs to align with the comps that have recently sold. This is a conversation that a lot of real estate agents may need to begin having with sellers if the market softens. I'm sure some sellers won't be happy and they will just look for a different agent. I've seen sellers switch agents multiple times in the past until they finally got worn out and started to listen to the last agent. They will finally list their home for a realistic price and get it sold. The problem here in America is some sellers can only afford to sell their home for a certain price. Some have refinanced and pulled out equity in recent years, and they may owe more than what it is worth now. I have to wonder if we will ever go back to the good old days when sellers had to bring money to closing in order to get rid of their house. I bought some homes in the past where sellers had to bring money to closing in order to get them sold. These were rental properties. Being a landlord isn't always easy. Some people were happy to pay money to get rid of the headache. Most of the properties had nightmare tenants that had caused a lot of destruction. I let these tenants out of their lease just to get them out of the homes. I then rehabbed the properties so they looked really good. I was then able to market the properties and attract really good tenants who paid more money and took care of them. I don't think your average American is ready for a reality where they have to bring money to closing to sell their home. A lot of people can't afford to do it. Guess what happens then? If someone gets unemployed and can't find new work and can no longer afford the house payment, it may go to foreclosure. This is why low money down and zero money down mortgages are so scary to me. People don't have much skin in the game. It's a lot easier for someone to just walk away if that person has no money invested in the property. Some people may even try to live in the home as long as possible for free until the foreclosure process gets far enough along and the sheriff forces them out. Think about how much money people could save living in homes where they weren't making payments on them. This happened frequently back in 2008 through 2010. Lenders were backlogged with paperwork and some people lived in these homes a long time. I even read a story back then about a real estate agent who was struggling financially and started living in a foreclosed home. He eventually was caught and it was in the news. Did you know that when Jay Leno first moved to Los Angeles, he saved money on rent by crashing in open houses? He would go to a vacant real estate open house. When no one was looking, he would hide in a closet. After the agent locked up the home, he would come out of the closet and live in the house. I don't suggest anyone try this today. I'm just sharing with you what he did years ago when he was just starting out in Los Angeles. Getting back to the article, economists predict that mortgage rates will remain elevated for most of 2024, and they will only begin to fall once the Federal Reserve starts cutting rates. The author said rates are unlikely to return to the lows seen during the pandemic. Here are my thoughts. No one has a crystal ball, and things could get very interesting with rates as we approach the election, even though the Fed is supposed to be independent. Who knows what might happen behind the scenes? I just think it is crazy that people think rates are so high right now, which is why real estate transactions have slowed. People need to realize the fantasy land we've been subjected to the past few years was not normal. If you can't afford a home in the 7% rate environment, then maybe you shouldn't be buying a home. Owning a home can be expensive. I worry about people who can barely afford to buy a home. What happens when the roof needs to be replaced? That could easily be $20,000 or more. What happens when the HVAC system goes out? That could easily be $10,000 or more. Some people have no clue how much this stuff costs. Some will get a rude awakening after they close and get the keys. The American dream could quickly turn into the American nightmare. Even more so if real estate prices start to cool and they end up in a negative equity situation and then need to sell the home due to job loss. I read another interesting article today about real estate. This one was on Yahoo Finance, put out by Fortune and written by Jason Ma, titled, "Home Prices Could Start Dropping This Summer, Marking the First Domino to Fall on the Way to a Weaker Economy, Strategist Says." According to the author, more homes are languishing on the market without any buyers, setting up prices to start falling as soon as this summer. This is according to Brian Nick, who is the senior investment strategist at the Macro Institute. He said the year-over-year percentage increase in unsold existing homes for sale is the highest since the Great Financial Crisis. He believes this will put downward pressure on prices in the next 3 to 6 months. I think all of the new builds hitting the market could create even more pressure unless Wall Street companies swoop in to buy them as rentals, which certainly could happen. I just worry about what is going to happen if the economy slows further and unemployment ticks up and we see a meaningful correction or crash in equities. Wait and see what happens to the real estate market then. Could the real estate market be a ticking time bomb if a scenario like this were to play out? The mainstream media will tell you that it is impossible because our economy is booming. It is the strongest economy in the history of the world. I really hope you don't believe all that. We have an economy propped up by consumer spending, often fueled by various forms of debt. We are no longer a manufacturing powerhouse in this country. It may be a matter of time before the chickens come home to roost. What do you think about all of this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Please keep in mind that everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only, and nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. If you would like to become a channel member, there is a link in the description beneath this video. You can read more about the different membership levels. Please also check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.